Thank you. It's an honor to represent the Charleston Division faculty, and I appreciate the opportunity to make some brief comments. I was asked to make this a personal reflection as a faculty member and have prepared remarks with that in mind. We stay so busy doing our jobs that it takes a celebration like this to reflect on how far we have come and the extent of our impact. I began my career with WVU in Morgantown. Like most faculty in Morgantown who were not West Virginians, I had never been south of Fairmont. We listened to Pittsburgh radio and watched Pittsburgh TV and followed the Pirates and the Steelers. In those days, southern West Virginia was a distant and imaginary place that was difficult to reach. It wasn't a region important to WVU, and the feeling was frankly mutual. For their medical care, patients in Charleston and the southern coal fields often went to UVA or Kentucky, since it was just as easy to travel to Charlottesville or Lexington as it was to Morgantown. About that time in Charleston, there were 3 separate and independent hospitals: Charleston General, Charleston Memorial, and McMillan Hospital, each of which had a full range of services such as surgery, pediatrics, and OB. These hospitals decided to join together to form the Charleston Area Medical Center and to assign each specialty service to only one of the partners. For example, all peds and OB were assigned to Memorial. These hospitals faced a crisis since the average age of a physician in the Charleston area at that time was close to 60. They desperately needed a training program to educate future clinicians who could provide services to patients in this region where they would face critical shortages. At the same time, the WVU School of Medicine in Morgantown was in need of a clinical campus to educate its growing class of medical and allied health students. So WVU and CAMC formed a partnership, and this was the genesis of the Charleston Division of the WVU School of Medicine, now the oldest clinical campus in the United States. I was very happy in Morgantown. So when our chair, Will Spradlin, asked me to consider going to Charleston with Jim Stevenson, I said that was no problem, because I assumed he meant just for the day. He then clarified that he had handpicked several of us to join other departments to start a new campus in the state capital and to represent the university in the southern counties of the state. I went home to my wife and told her I didn't know what I had done wrong to face banishment to Charleston. Will suggested he was choosing his best people to start this program, but I had my doubts. I-79 was not completed into Charleston. It ended in Spencer, and then you drove an hour on a winding back road behind school buses and Dodge Deer all the way into the city. There was no interstate bridge at Oakwood Road because I-64 was not completed going west. To go from Morgantown to Huntington, you went through downtown Charleston and then on to Route 60. There was no Carter G with all the shops at Southbridge. They were empty fields. There was no town center mall, no Marriott or Embassy Suites, no pavilion at the levee. And there was no CAMC as we knew it. There's no Women and Children's Hospital, no WVU building. There were no parking buildings at General or Memorial. There was no vascular center. There was no health net. There was no Health Education and Research Institute. On behavioral medicine at General, we had 1 resident and a couple of med students. Our entire department could travel to a seminar in a 4-door sedan. The West Virginia Turnpike was a deadly 2-lane road where trucks approached you inches away at a high rate of speed. Heinous head-on collisions that closed the turnpike for hours were commonplace, and the air was polluted with emissions from the chemical plants in South Charleston. The chair was asking me to leave Rome and go to Judea. In the Bible, the last time that happened, it didn't go well. Who would want to come here? But we saw the potential and gambled that this was a diamond in the rough. We agreed to come to Charleston. People in Morgantown assumed I had lost my mind. One of my faculty colleagues in another department there advised me to buy a house overlooking the Kanawha so I could watch my career sink into the river. Ironically, the following year, that colleague was in a motor vehicle accident on the West Virginia Turnpike about 10 miles south of Charleston and was transported to General, where I was consulted on him as a member of the spinal cord injury team. The neurosurgical skill of Dr. Tino Amores prevented a dreadful outcome, and my friend walked out of the hospital a month later. He thanked me many times for being there for him and praised the level of care and treatment he received. And my career has remained above water and dry. This celebration allowed me to think about the experience of being a faculty member here as the Charleston Division has grown and prospered. Some of you have been here for a long time and recall the early years, and others are just starting careers and have yet to experience history with these people and this place. First, I'd like to acknowledge the incredible generosity of our benefactors, in particular Robert Byrd and the Mayer family. Without the Mayer family, we would not be sitting here today. But I will defer to others to highlight the many ways they have been committed to our mission in Charleston. My perspective doesn't ignore or overlook some of the problems we have struggled with over the years. We are underpaid, as faculty members often are, but there's not a faculty member in this room that does it for the money. There is endless paperwork and pressure from accrediting bodies, but that is common as well. And there have been some dark and challenging times, but on this occasion, I chose to focus on the more positive aspect of faculty life at the Charleston Division, which greatly outweigh the negative. My foremost impression is the excellence of the faculty. I have a rule. I would never work with colleagues who could not get jobs somewhere else. Every faculty member in this room could get a good job somewhere else. The dedication and skill and the regional and national reputations of many of our faculty is remarkable. And with each new hire, we add to the depth and breadth of the knowledge, skills, and attitude that benefit patients in this part of the state. This faculty distinction is seen not only in our medical staff, but in pharmacy and the incredible nursing program and other areas of specialization. It would be hard to find a more competent and dedicated group of professionals, and I salute you all. I also note the talent of the administrative support staff, those unsung heroes who manage the budgets, handle the billing, hassle with insurance companies, support our training programs, schedule our patients, and provide our first impression to the public, that voice on the phone or the caring smile that anxious patients see when they register for the first time. These are special people, and they deserve a lot of credit.